This is the story of the busiest fire department per capita in the country, Chelsea, Massachusetts, and about a feisty union at war with a tough-talking mayor.
What's happening here may be the future for many other Massachusetts cities and towns. Trucks with bad brakes, ladders that stop in midair, equipment older than some of the men who operate it. But when the alarm comes, they go.
This was no goof-off fire department. It's one of the busiest in the country, using outdated and dangerous equipment.
This is the front lines in Chelsea. This is the battlefront right here. We're in a war every day.
At the same time they are fighting this 7-alarm fire, there is also a 2-alarmer in progress. By the time both are extinguished, there will also have been 2 serious car accidents in town, a choking incident, and a baby who was born in an ambulance.
You know, they used to always say when I was a kid, the mayor, why would a man become mayor of the city of Chelsea for $10,000? And he used to always say, well, because the tips were good.
Sometimes democracy doesn't work.
Firefighters say they lack more than manpower and stations and apparatus. The gear they do have is aging. One of only 2 ladder trucks in the city of Chelsea, this truck was already 15 years old when the city bought it back in 1991. Look behind this magnetic sign and you see its former life. It was a Boston fire truck. But fire officials say their greatest need, by far, is manpower.
The policies that exist today is totally ineffective to save lives when this one situation, such as what happened yesterday morning, presents itself.
This may not look like one of the worst fires you've ever seen, but it is. The flames outside 60 Essex Street are not a true indicator of the tragedy that lies within. This 3-alarm fire began about 4:30 a.m. on the 3rd floor as the family slept. Alba Rodriguez and her husband and 5 children.
We used to have 4 fire stations, now there's 2 fire stations. We used to have 4 pumps in service, now we have 2 pumps in service. So we're just flirting with disaster here. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Well, it's a disaster that just happened. 5 children just were killed.
The men of the house, Jose Abreu, suffered burns and broken bones when he jumped from a 3rd-floor window. Mrs. Rodriguez, also severely burned, was rescued by Chelsea firefighters who knew there were kids still inside.
They had to be ordered out of the building. I could see the fire was advancing on them. I was fearing for their safety. They just wouldn't come out.
The crews followed orders. They did pull out reluctantly, leaving a baby girl and her 4 big brothers aged.
Officials insist they don't have enough manpower to adequately protect the city. But they say if they did, they may have been able to save 5 young lives.
I honestly felt a pit in my stomach not even being on duty. So it must be terrible for those men not to have enough men or apparatus to reach those children.
The closest fire station to Monday's fire is just as boarded up as the Rodriguez home is now. Refuse piles up around the station. It was one of 2 stations closed when the bankrupt city went into state receivership in 1991.
Flames poured from a row of triple-decker homes late this afternoon and spread quickly. 9 nearby towns rushed in to help. And when it was over, 1 person was dead, 14 firemen were hurt, 120 people were left homeless.
On the right, Chelsea firefighter Louis Mojica. Each man honored today for saving the life of a small child. And those children were with them today to place a Medal of Honor around their necks. Louis Mojica carried her out of her burning home and performed mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Thomas Lassiter and firefighter Henry Jones during firefighting operations at a structure fire on Chestnut Street in Chelsea. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts awards Captain Lassiter and firefighter Jones the Firefighter of the Year Medal of Valor.
As Acting Captain Charles Crowley led a search and rescue team to the 2nd floor, we're proud to award Captain Charles Crowley the 1999 Firefighter of the Year Medal of Valor.
Public budgets really don't matter once that bell has rung. Once the door opens, the truck goes out and smoke is in the air, money doesn't matter. These people fight fires. So the question really comes down to this. When town managers and mayors and state representatives continue to slash at budgets, where is the bottom line? Where do they stop trimming? And the ultimate question becomes, how much is a life worth?